Konoha. Uchiha, am full of positive energy. Chapter 41. Okay, Madara-sama, but you know that I only have this little wish, why can't you satisfy me and create something for me? Suddenly, Baiju felt a strong murderous aura. Even if it was a semi-finished product, he could sense the danger, so he changed his words directly. There are not many people in the Uchiha clan who meet your requirements, Madara-sama. The most lovable among them is probably a young man named Uchiha Obito. He hangs around a classmate named Nohara Rin all day long, and he often does good deeds. Even when I become an old man, he will help me, ha ha ha. There is also Uchiha Aohiko, who is very cold on the surface, but he will not refuse what others ask for, and actually completes it very well. Uchiha Yechuin has a similar personality to Uchiha Obito, but he is already married. Baizetsu mentioned a lot of candidates, and they basically met Uchiha Madara's requirements. Such people are not uncommon among the Uchiha clan. They are cold-hearted and cold-hearted. They usually have a straight face, but apart from that straight face, there are no other shortcomings. There is another person who is very interesting, Uchiha Yoichi. He is also known as a young genius in the Uchiha clan. He was a 13-year-old Chunin. However, within a year of becoming a Chunin, everyone who teamed up with him had an accident for no reason, and his teammates died. Half of it. And there seems to have been a conflict with Danzo of Konoha village not long ago. This guy led people to arrest Danzo's clansmen, and seemed to have charged Danzo with being a spy, which made even the Hokage of Konoha village helpless. If we can't help him, Madara-sama, do you think if we find someone as smart as him, will the plan be completed faster? Uchiha Madara glanced at White Zetsu and said, "Shut up, Zetsu." After shutting up Zetsu with a scolding, Uchiha Madara began to think. His time is running out now. He has spent decades trying to open the Samsara Eye. Although he has successfully obtained the power of all things, he is already dying of old age and has no energy to collect tailed beasts and open infinite moon reading. Fortunately, after obtaining the Samsara Eye, Uchiha Madara discovered that there is a six-path technique in the Samsara Eye that can resurrect others. After discovering this operation, Uchiha Madara began to plan to resurrect himself from the dead and return to the top, so that he could capture the tailed beast with his young body and execute the plan of infinite Tsukuyomi. The first is to store the Samsara Eye in a young man with the bloodline of Whirlpool and Thousand Hands. Only people with this special physique can bear and use the power of the Samsara Eye. It's just that Nagato will not resurrect Uchiha Madara obediently according to Uchiha Madara's wishes. Even if Uchiha Madara prepares the means in advance, by the time Nagato becomes proficient in the Rinnegan Eye and can use the technique of reincarnation, he will still have a certain ability to resist. And someone must take the initiative to guide Nagato to use the reincarnation eye. Otherwise, without learning or practicing, it will be impossible to use the innate technique of reincarnation for the rest of his life. Focus on monitoring Uchiha Obito to see if he really understands love so deeply. The three Magatama in Uchiha Madara's eyes slowly turned, as if he was remembering the past, and then continued, only when the love is deep enough, when he falls into hell, will he understand the world and show the Sharingan the true power of the eye. Then choose Uchiha Obito. Okay, I thought I would choose Uchiha Yoichi. After all, if his ability is used to collect tailed beasts, it might be of great help. Uchiha Madara glanced at this idiot and said calmly, I don't need such smart people, as long as they can execute my plan well, it will be enough, Eye of the Moon, it will be enough for me to execute it myself. Go and monitor that Uchiha Obito, and then notify me when you get the chance. After saying that, Uchiha Madara closed his eyes. He wanted to draw some power from the heretic demon. Master Yang, are you going to summon a psychic beast today? But there is only one sealed beast stored in a person's body, if there are many. I know, and I don't intend to put anything into my body. Uchiha Yoichi interrupted and said, just go out with me tonight. Don't worry about other things. By the way, Mina, you have been at Konoha Hospital for a while, and you know who in Konoha Hospital has the strongest ability to prepare medicines. The ability to prepare medicines. It should be Tsunade-sama. I heard from the seniors at the hospital that Tsunade-sama can detoxify all poisons. This is something that can only be accomplished with a deep understanding of pharmacology. Who else is there besides her? Uchiha Yoichi asked. After thinking about it, he knew that it was unrealistic to find Tsunade. Even if the gap between him and Tsunade was not mentioned, it would be impossible for Senju and Uchiha to cooperate. He has to improve his own strength and make money, but to make money, Uchiha Yang just keeps coming up with ideas. He explores a business opportunity that does not exist in the ninja world, and leaves the rest to his subordinates. I still focus on improving my strength. Uchiha Yoichi suddenly remembered and asked, by the way, did Tsunade talk to you? No, it's just that everyone who studied in Konoha Hospital knows Tsunade-sama, and many people have learned medical ninjutsu from her. Yes, Jonin Ikemoto of the medicine department should be the most proficient medical ninja in preparing medicinal materials besides Lady Tsunade. Generally, when Lady Tsunade is away, antidotes and the like are prepared by Jonin Ikemoto. Quote. Mina Uzumaki thought for a while and said that she didn't know how to prepare medicines at all. She had only learned it for less than a month, and she had just saved a fish. A qualified medical ninja has to know too many things, such as human body parts, medical ninjutsu, surgery and detoxification, etc. It is difficult for a talented person to learn it in just 4 or 5 years. Please help me make an appointment with that Ikemoto Jonin tomorrow. I want to entrust him with something. Uchiha Yoichi planned to entrust this Ikemoto Jonin to research some health products and other drugs. It would be best to research Viagra. In that case, Uchiha would be sitting on a golden mountain in the future. Uzumaki Mina nodded and said, I will go and talk to Ikemoto Jonin later, Mr. Yoichi. Uchiha Yoichi would only leave the village at night to use the random summoning skill. During the day, he would basically practice at the training ground near the clan. He has been keeping a very low profile recently. Apart from quietly leaving the village, he has basically been practicing. But the results are good. Now Uchiha Yoichi can bear 100 kilograms and fight with Kakashi using sword skills. Moreover, Kakashi is often at a disadvantage. Sometimes he has to give up sword skills and use ninjutsu. Only then did he gain the upper hand. And just one day after sealing Godzilla into his body, Uchiha Yoichi slowly felt the changes in his body. His body temperature was too high, but he didn't feel any discomfort. On the contrary, this change greatly increased the power of his fire escape ninjutsu, and his recovery ability became stronger. Even if he was tired from practicing the day before, he only needed to go back to sleep and not eat magic goat. The meat can restore 80% to 90% of energy the next day. At night, Uchiha Yoichi and Uzumaki Mina quietly left Konoha again. If he summoned a strange beast that was difficult to conquer this time, Yoichi Uchiha would give up the next 2 random summons and summon magic goats on a regular basis to add some seniors to his breeding farm. This kind of randomness is too difficult to bet on, and getting lucky once is already very good. It was still the same place and plan as before. After Uchiha Yang had made all preparations, he stood on the edge of the cliff and shouted loudly. The call from another world, come out. Still such shameful words. After Uchiha Yang finished shouting the summoning spell, a summoning array illuminated by purple light appeared, accompanied by a thick smoke. Uchiha Yang quickly retreated, and then he heard the roar of a bear from the summoning array. Bear. There was no terrifying sense of oppression like when King Ghidorah appeared last time, and Uchiha Yoichi was hiding in a safe place, so he opened the super power dial to check the summons this time. Earth Bear Growth Stage, the legendary pet of the Earth Goddess, a natural darling of the Earth. Standing on the ground, it can restore energy very quickly and can control its body size. In adulthood, the Earth Bear can expand its body to the maximum size. Grows to 50 meters. Gravity can be controlled at will. The adult Earth Bear can control 20 times the gravity. Its natural ability is the Beast King's Roaring Bullet. This Earth Bear is only 600 years old. When it reaches 1000 years old, it becomes an adult Earth Bear. At 2000 years old, it has a chance to receive the blessing of the Earth Goddess and give it energy-rich food, can also help the Earth Bear grow up quickly. If you want to conquer it, you'd better conquer it first. Note: the summoned object has been recorded and can be summoned repeatedly or resummoned. Earth Bear. After the smoke dissipated, Uchiha Yoichi looked in the direction of the summoning array. There happened to be a brown-black bear standing over 2 meters tall, with a piece of khaki hair on his lower abdomen. Although it is only in the growth stage, this earth bear is also very powerful. It can now expand to a maximum size of more than 20 meters. It can barely release a Beast King's roar bomb, and it can also control gravity within 10 times. It would be pretty good if he could conquer the earth bear and become a psychic beast, but if he wanted to conquer it, Uchiha Yoichi weighed the strength of him and the earth bear, and he didn't have much confidence in his heart. However, the summoning of strange beasts this time was considered to be within the limit of his ability. If he gave up without giving it a try, Uchiha Yoichi would not be willing to give up. There is only half an hour. If you don't subdue this earth bear and let it sign a psychic contract, you will be sent away. After making a decision in his heart, Uchiha Yoichi walked out of his hiding place and walked towards the earth bear. Half an hour later. The cliff has collapsed nearly 100 meters away, and the ground is full of holes with huge bear paws, as well as raised stone pillars and the ground scorched by the flames. Uchiha Yoichi lay weakly on the ground and received treatment from Uzumaki Mina. It was said to be treatment, but in fact, it meant extending his arm for Uchiha Yoichi to bite. This would relieve the injury first, and then go to Konoha Hospital for treatment. After a while, Uchiha Yoichi's injuries healed a lot and he sat up. Mina Uzumaki asked worriedly, "Sir, how do you feel? Do you want to drink more?" Uchiha Yang shook his head and said, "No need, just go to the hospital tomorrow for the remaining injuries. Maybe you don't even need to go." Although it had only been a few days since Godzilla was sealed into his body, Yoichi Uchiha seemed to have inherited Godzilla's resilience. After treatment with Uzumaki Mina's blood, he could almost recover from the remaining injuries after resting for a night. After getting up, Uchiha Yang walked towards the earth bear on the other side. It took a lot of effort for him to subdue the earth bear. Now it is no better than Uchiha Yoichi, with large burns on his body. A large area of the previously smooth hair has been scorched, and there are many wounds and several broken bones. This was because the earth bear was not familiar with the ninja's fighting style, so Uchiha Yoichi used his speed to dodge several earth bear attacks, and finally deceived its Beast King's roaring bullet. Otherwise, it's really uncertain who will win and who will lose. At least the earth bear's ability to control gravity is a big trouble for Uchiha Yoichi. When Uchiha Yoichi came to the earth bear, he squatted down and asked, "What's your name?" After just defeating the earth bear and signing the psychic contract, the earth bear spat out a light ball at him. After the light ball entered Uchiha Yoichi's body, he found that he could communicate with the earth bear. This earth bear's name is Gates. He was sleeping in the Warcraft Mountains just a moment ago, and he suddenly arrived here the next second. The light ball just now is the soul contract used by Gates, which allows the master and servant to sense each other's position and communicate with each other's souls. But when Gates becomes an adult, he will be able to speak human language. Take a rest first and then go back. I'll find a medical ninja to treat your injuries. She's also mine. Let Mina teach you some common sense in the ninja world in the future. Roar. Gates roared with an aggrieved face. The injury was a bit serious. Just now, one person and one bear were in a state where they could not stand up. After seeing this, Uchiha Yoichi had no choice but to take out the leg of a magic goat. Let Gates eat to replenish his strength. Gates then lay on the ground again, using its natural instinct to absorb the power of the earth to restore its strength. Gates' body was soon covered with a layer of light yellow light. After seeing this, Uchiha Yang also sat aside and waited for Gates to recover. Mina Uzumaki had nothing to do, so she asked curiously, "Master Yoichi, is it already your psychic beast?" "Well, it is the bear of the earth. Its name is Gates. It has intelligence similar to ours, but it doesn't know much about the ninja world." Uchiha Yoichi said, "Mina, when you go back, tell Gates more about the ninja world. By the way, order more food in the future, at least 700 kilograms of meat every day." After hearing this, Uzumaki Mina suddenly blurted out with a shocked look on her face, "So many?" Uchiha Yoichi said helplessly, "You saw the size of Gates just now. 700 pounds is not much for him. I will give you another 10 million taels tomorrow. The money will be used as Gates' food expenses first." Uzumaki Mina thought about Gates's 20-meter-long body just now. 700 kilograms of meat didn't seem to be much for him. After a while, Gates also finished absorbing the power of the earth. Although the wound was not healed, he at least regained the strength to walk back. Otherwise, Uchiha Yoichi would not be able to carry him, nor would he be able to channel him back. Chakra. Two people and one bear slowly rushed towards Konoha. The ability to randomly summon will disappear in 2 days. Uchiha Yoichi does not plan to make new summons next and harvest a Godzilla and an Earth God. Shang, you are lucky. After returning to Konoha, Uzumaki Mina went to Konoha Hospital and found 2 medical ninjas. 100,000 taels per person is almost equivalent to receiving a top-level C-level mission reward, and they are only asked to rescue a psychic beast, so naturally they will not have any objections. Although the ninjas were not short of money, they would not refuse the money earned so easily. After the 2 medical ninjas came to the Uchiha clan, they saw Gates' miserable appearance and started treating him without saying anything. The burned fur was cut off and ointment was applied. Although the large wounds no longer bled, they still needed to be sutured, and some wounds also required them to use palm magic. With the incentive of money, these 2 medical ninjas also regarded this matter as their mission and treated them very carefully. An hour later, the 2 medical ninjas were so tired that they didn't even care about their appearance and sat down on the ground. The 2 of them consumed a lot of chakra and treated all the wounds on Gates. Now he only needs a few days of rest to fully recover, and Uchiha Yoichi also learned through soul communication that Gates is much better now. Afterwards, they gave the reward and let the 2 of them leave. The next day, Uchiha Yoichi felt much better after a night's rest, and when he got up, he found that the bedding was very warm, at least around 50 or 60 degrees Celsius. It should have something to do with the evolution of Godzilla in his body, but Uchiha Yoichi didn't feel uncomfortable. On the contrary, after taking a nap, his energy recovered quickly. In the morning, I went to visit the second elder and asked him to use the strength of the clan to find some talents in making electronic equipment. It was time to start making money. Now there is another foodie in the family, and even the cheapest pork costs 40 to 50 taels per kilogram, and Gates doesn't like pork, so to satisfy him, he needs at least lamb or beef. Cheap beef now costs about 340 taels per catty, and slightly better beef costs 460 taels per catty. If you want to raise Gates well, he will eat 320,000 taels a day. Even if you use inferior beef, it will cost more than 200,000 taels a day. After calculating this number last night, Uchiha Yoichi didn't even sleep well. With all his wealth, he could only support Gates for more than a year at most. His strength as a psychic beast was indeed good, and after becoming familiar with ninja battles, ordinary ninjas were no match for it. If Gates waits until he reaches adulthood, he will be a standard-tailed beast. Although it takes constant time, Gates told him that 1,000 years is the natural adult time for the Earth bear to do nothing and sleep in the cave. However, most Earth bears will look for things that can make them grow quickly. Food. Therefore, many Earth bears reach adulthood at more than 700 years old. With the help of their parents, it is not uncommon for them to evolve to adulthood at 500 or 600 years old. However, Gates is an orphan bear. The mother went out to help it find food and never came back. If Yoichi Uchiha wants Gates to reach adulthood early, he will definitely need a lot of money. There is also the welfare system of the Uchiha clan and the money to hire other ninjas, so there are expenses everywhere. Elder Kenji wanted to make him the clan leader, and Uchiha Yoichi did not refuse. What's wrong with becoming the leader of the Uchiha clan? It is almost considered the largest clan in the ninja world, with huge potential and many strong people in the clan. Once you activate the 3 Magatama, you become a Junin, and it is difficult to lose in a duel with other Junin. One-on-one, you must escape. This is not what Uchiha himself said, but what other ninja villages summed up in their battles with Uchiha. If you encounter Uchiha alone outside, you should run away quickly. Once you fall into the illusion, no one can help you to solve it. After all, not everyone is like Metkai, who can train the method of staring at the feet to kill. If there is anything wrong with being the leader of the Uchiha clan, it may be that there will always be a few psychopaths in the clan, but most of the clan members are normal. Turning on the 3 Magatama has some impact on the Uchiha clan, but not a big one. However, if you want to become a clan leader, You must first establish a welfare system so that you can win over people's hearts. While thinking about this matter, Uchiha Yoichi suddenly noticed the situation in front of him. A mature and beautiful woman had just walked out of the house with a gift box in her hand. The hostess of the house also came to the door to see it off with some embarrassment on her face. After sending the mature and beautiful woman out, she returned. The door of the house was closed. The woman sighed when she came out, but when she noticed Uchiha Yoichi passing by, the disappointment on her face disappeared again. Mrs. Makoto, are you here to give a gift to Captain Ryota? Uchiha Yang glanced at the gift box in Uchiha Makoto's hand. It was beautifully packaged, but he didn't know what was inside. But is this an instruction from Uchiha Fugaku? He also began to take the wife route, hoping to use his wife to make friends and win the hearts of the tribesmen. This is not Fugaku's instigation. I want to do something for Fugaku. Uchiha Makoto said with a complicated expression. She had seen the object belonging to the younger generation of Uchiha Yoichi before, and then she was a little rude to Uchiha Yoichi. She felt a little embarrassed at first. But later, Makoto heard that Uchiha Yoichi and Fugaku had completely turned against each other and had defected to the side of the second elder, who was a radical faction in the clan, and almost hurt Fugaku. This made Makoto feel complicated, but she knew that the young Yijun in front of her was an enemy of their family. Although it was unreasonable to regard the clan members as enemies, Makoto knew what her husband's attitude towards Uchiha Yoichi was at home. When she got married and followed her husband, she naturally had to follow in her husband's footsteps. This time she came to visit Uchiha Ryota with the intention of helping Fugaku, but Makoto did not expect that Ryota's wife seemed to have received the warning long ago and neither accepted her gifts nor had any plans to have a close relationship with her. Young Yijun, we are all members of the same clan, why can't we work together? Fugaku has no selfish motives. Mrs. Makoto, I believe what you said. The clan leader is unlikely to have selfish motives, but he doesn't have the ability. Do you know? Uchiha Yoichi interrupted what the beautiful woman in front of him was trying to persuade. Even without him, the Uchiha clan, under the leadership of Uchiha Fugaku, would definitely not be able to escape the result of genocide. I didn't really have much interest in becoming the clan leader, but the clan leader tried to aggrieve me over and over again and he didn't do anything wrong, so I had no choice but to resist. To be honest, I don't recognize Uchiha Fugaku as the clan leader. If I have the opportunity in the future, I will definitely become the clan leader myself, and you don't need to do any useless actions. Uchiha Yoichi said with a very positive attitude, and then he pointed at the gift box in Uchiha Makoto's hand and asked, do you still have any use for this? Why? Uchiha Makoto was stunned. She didn't expect that Uchiha Yoichi suddenly asked about the gift box in her hand, but it was not given out, and it would be useless to take it back. Then lend me alone. When Uchiha Yang saw Uchiha Makoto holding up the gift box without saying anything, he took the gift box over and then tore off the packaging on it. Then he took the unwrapped gift box and walked towards Ryota Uchiha's house. After pressing the doorbell, Mrs. Ryota opened the door soon. When she saw Uchiha Yoichi standing outside, she asked, who are you? Madam, I am Uchiha Yoichi. Senior Ryota has taken great care of me in the past few days. I passed by today and didn't prepare any good gifts to visit. When Ryota Senpai is at home, I will solemnly come to thank you. Ah, it turns out it's Yoichi-kun. You don't have to be so polite. Ryota always talks about you. When Uchiha Ryota's wife heard that it was Uchiha Yoichi, she immediately smiled and said, and then took the gift box very naturally, Yoichi-kun, do you want to come in and sit down for a while? No madam, I will visit you again after Senior Leonta comes back. Well, welcome Yang Yijun to be our guest next time. When Uchiha Makoto saw this, she felt very angry. She knew that Uchiha Yoichi was using this method and told her that that method was completely useless. This sense of failure made Uchiha Makoto feel frustrated, and she bit her lip unwillingly. Then when she saw Uchiha Yang nodding towards her almost showing off, Makoto turned and left. Fugaku is right, this guy is so annoying. Single quote. Yang Yi, why did you come here this morning? Uchiha Kenji picked up the teacup and took a slow sip, then said with a smile, I thought you were practicing, why did you come to me this time? By the way, I heard that you brought a bear back last night, and you also slightly injured. After saying that, Uchiha Kenji also looked at Uchiha Yoichi's body and found that he had no injuries. That bear is very special. It is stronger than the average Jonin. I have adopted it as a psychic beast, but it just eats a little too much. With all my savings in recent years, I can't afford to feed it. As soon as Uchiha Yang finished speaking, he saw Elder Kenji seemed to want to answer, so he guessed what he was going to say, so he quickly interrupted. Elder Kenji, I don't want to ask you for money, but I have a few ideas. If I implement them, I will definitely make a lot of money. In this way, the Uchiha clan will have a steady stream of business, and even children will be able to do so in the future. Don't worry about spending money. After hearing this, Uchiha Kenji couldn't help but smile, then shook his head and said, Yoichi-kun, your idea is good, but for ninjas, money is not very important. Among the 3 taboos of ninjas, there is a prohibition on luxury, which means that money and material things will corrode the mind of the strong. This is why some Junin can easily earn rewards by doing tasks, but their homes are very simple. Elder Kenji, when I say that I don't have to worry about money, I don't mean luxury. When ninjas are fighting, ninja tools account for a large proportion of the increase in strength. Maybe Junin's dependence is very small, but Chunin and Genin are absolutely the role of ninja tools cannot be ignored. Uchiha Yoichi explained. For example, if a Chunin from our clan encounters 3 enemy Chunin, but he happens to have 300 detonating charms on him. Uchiha Kenji was speechless for a moment, his brain was spinning at this point. A detonating talisman, even if it is of slightly inferior quality, is more lethal than most D-level ninjutsu, and the detonating talisman does not consume much chakra, as long as it is activated and thrown out. 300 detonating charms are almost equivalent to 300 C-level ninjutsus. Can even a Hokage-level ninja cast 300 fire escape ninjutsus continuously? Elder Kenji, if you are just trying to make money for pleasure, then I don't agree with it, but having more money can improve the survival rate of the tribe on the battlefield, and even Junin cannot ignore it. If everyone has a chakra weapon, or a good one, with armor, the survival rate of that tribe can be greatly improved. After hearing Uchiha Yoichi's words, Uchiha Kenji had already placed the teacup on the table and couldn't help but nodded in agreement. Uchiha Yoichi took advantage of the situation and continued, if I want to become the clan leader, the support of the clan members is necessary, so I want to establish an Uchiha welfare system to ensure the food, clothing and medical benefits of each clan member. Then he briefly talked about the welfare system he wanted to build. Uchiha Kenji nodded while listening. This is indeed a good idea, and all clan members can benefit. If it is built, then the entire clan will be grateful to Uchiha Yoichi. And when I came here just now, I saw the clan leader's wife bringing gifts to visit Senior Ryota's wife, Elder Kenji. Now even the Fugaku clan leader is ready to accept the invitation of the clan members. Although I plan to keep a low profile, I don't want to do nothing while competing for the clan leader. Uchiha Yang opened his mouth and said, now he has the heart, but does not have the conditions. Even Uchiha Kenji would not be able to promote a person with no record, no support from the majority of the clan, and meritorious service to the clan to the position of clan leader. To sum up, it is to convince the crowd. Uchiha Yoichi's age, record and achievements have not reached the point of convincing the crowd. If most of the Uchiha clan can convince him, then Uchiha Fugaku will naturally not be able to be the clan leader and will take the initiative to abdicate. I understand, Yoichi, your idea is very good. Although the clan is not short of money, it does not have the extra money to do these things. If you can establish an Uchiha welfare system, then do it. After listening to Uchiha Yoichi's words and Yoichi saying that Makoto was also wooing the ninjas in the clan, Uchiha Kenji felt that he had no reason to object, so he decided to fully support it. I will help you find the people or things you need. If you need anything, you can come to me at any time. After hearing this, Uchiha Yoichi smiled and said, thank you very much, Elder Kenji. I just need some relevant personnel. I still have the money here. Then, he wrote down the technical personnel he needed. Nowadays, there are TVs in the ninja world, and computers are still big-headed, so the development of ninja games can only start with game consoles. Just when Uchiha Yoichi was about to leave, Uchiha Kenji suddenly said, Yoichi, those magic goats you sent have already given birth. It is estimated that in 2 or 3 years, the breeding farm will be large scale. This is good news, but it still needs to be confirmed whether the magical goats born in the ninja world have the edible effects of their previous generation. However, there is also natural energy in the ninja world, and the natural energy in the ninja world can make toads talk. Even if it is not as good as the forest of elements, it should not be far behind. Ikamoto Jonin, please excuse me. Let's talk in detail at Inoue Izakaya after get off work today. After Uzumaki Mina heard Ikamoto Jonin's promise, she told her a place to meet tonight. There are not many entertainment venues in Konoha village now, there are only 2 izakayas, and there are not many places to eat. I understand, Mina-san, I will definitely go to the appointment today. Ikamoto agreed immediately. He also saw that Uzumaki Mina's talent in medical ninjutsu was very outstanding, and the Uchiha clan's reputation was indeed great, so he agreed. Now that everything was agreed, just when Uzumaki Mina was about to leave, the door was suddenly pushed open. Ikamoto, are you ready with what I asked for last time? Hey, Kushina. Tsunade unexpectedly found a figure with red hair in the room. The hair looked very much like Kushina, but when she took a closer look, she realized that she had made a mistake and it was not Kushina. It's ready. I'll get it for you right now, Tsunade-sama. When Ikamoto saw that Tsunade was coming, after saying that, he stood up and prepared to get Tsunade the medicine she wanted to prepare last time. When Uzumaki Mina saw Tsunade coming, she whispered, Ikamoto Jonin, Tsunade-sama, if nothing happens, I will go back first. Ikamoto nodded and said, you go back first, Mina-san. After the people left, Tsunade looked away. The color of her hair was so similar to Kushina's. There were very few people with such bright red hair in Konoha. Ikamoto, is she also from the hospital? Yes, Tsunade-sama, Mina-san is a genius in medical ninjutsu. In less than a month after arriving, she completed the step of saving live fish. And before that, she had no foundation in medical ninjutsu. She was better than me at the time. It's much stronger. Ikamoto praised without hesitation that he spent less than half a year on rescuing live fish, which was far behind Uzumaki Mina. Less than a month. That talent is really good. Tsunade was also a little surprised after hearing this, and she became more and more curious about Mina, a little girl with red hair. Mina, this wound can already be healed with healing techniques. I'll leave it to you this time. Remember to guide the activation of cells. I understand, Dr. Morimoto. After hearing this, Mina Uzumaki formed a seal with her hands, then condensed the yang release chakra in her palms, covered the patient's wound, and began to guide the treatment. In less than 5 minutes, after Uzumaki Mina picked up her hand, the wound had disappeared and she was completely recovered. After Kana Morimoto saw this, she couldn't help but praise. Well done, Mina, you are really a natural medical ninja. The same injury healed very quickly in your hands, and you only learned the healing technique in less than 3 days. The healing technique is AB level medical ninjutsu. If you successfully condense the yang release chakra, you can learn this ninjutsu. The advanced medical ninjutsu of the healing technique is an A-level palm ninjutsu. Learning this medical ninjutsu basically means many medical ninjutsu are no longer difficult. After hearing the compliment, Uzumaki Mina smiled sheepishly and said, thank you so much, Dr. Morimoto, it's all for your good teaching. I'm not overly praising you. With your talent, you can become a medical junin in less than half a year. In another month, you can do the surgery with me. When you're almost done, I'll apply for the assessment. Kana Morimoto said, this progress is not too fast. Current medical ninjas are mainly trained in first aid and surgery. There are only a few emergency killing methods for ninjas, so the purpose of training is to save injured ninjas on the battlefield as quickly as possible. As for those difficult diseases such as cancer and heart disease, generally only ninjas who are very powerful in the medical field will study them in depth. It seems that Tsunade is the only one in Konoha who can cure this disease, so she is very popular among the nobles. This kind of disease is generally rare among ninjas, but there are many ordinary people. Just as Kana Morimoto finished speaking, the door to the ward was pushed open. Uzumaki Mina was startled when she saw the person coming in, because it was Tsunade-sama again. After Morimoto Kana saw it was Tsunade, she quickly asked, Tsunade-sama, what's the matter? It's okay, I'm here to see her. Kana, is this your student? Tsunade glanced at Uzumaki Mina, tilted her head and asked, she just had a whim and looked outside for a while, and found that Uzumaki Mina's chakra was very special and had a familiar feeling. Yes, as requested by a friend before, and Mina is very talented and learned the healing technique in less than a month. After hearing Kana Morimoto's words, Tsunade nodded. She knew all this, and then said, Mina, use the healing technique on me. Mina Uzumaki was startled after hearing this, and subconsciously looked at Kana Morimoto. Kana Morimoto said quickly, Mina, listen to Tsunade-sama. After hearing this, Mina Uzumaki had no choice but to follow Kana Morimoto's instructions and use the healing technique on Tsunade. However, Tsunade had no wounds on her body, so she told her to just use it. Uzumaki Mina formed seals on her hands to condense chakra, and then attached them to on Tsunade's arm. Sure enough, your chakra is very special and has very powerful healing power. And your hair. Tsunade noticed that this was not the place to talk, so she said to Kana Morimoto on the side, Kana, I have something to tell her. Kana Morimoto said quickly, Tsunade-sama, just do whatever you want. Today's teaching is over. Afterwards, Tsunade brought Uzumaki Mina to her office. Although she didn't come to Konoha Hospital very often, there was still a place for her to stay here. Are you from the Uzumaki clan? Your hair color and chakra give me a very familiar feeling. After Tsunade finished speaking, she saw a flash of nervousness on Uzumaki Mina's face, and she couldn't help but frown slightly. She didn't know why Uzumaki Mina was nervous about revealing her identity. This is Konoha, and the Uzumaki clan and Konoha are allies and should not appear this emotion. However, seeing Uzumaki Mina's nervousness, Tsunade comforted her, don't be nervous, my grandmother is from the Uzumaki clan, and there is also a member of your clan who has lived in my house since childhood. I won't do anything to you, I just want to ask how did you come to Konoha? Quote. Mr. Yoichi brought me back, and I am not from the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Mina lowered her head and was silent for a while before speaking. Anyway, she only remembered one sentence, as long as she refused to admit that she was a member of the Uzumaki clan. Now her external name is Uchiha Mina. Tsunade was startled when she heard this. The name seemed familiar, so she asked, Yoichi. Who is it? Is it from our village? Quote. Uchiha Yoichi. That brat. Tsunade instantly remembered that at first she suspected that her transformation into a wild boar was related to him, but in the end she could not find any doubts, and she could not find the direction if she checked again. The result was that there was no result. Even now, she still can't find any clues. If Uzumaki Mina hadn't said anything, Tsunade would have forgotten that such a thing happened. You are from the Uzumaki clan, how come you and Uchiha got together? Tsunade asked curiously. Uzumaki and Senju are a generational alliance, and they are mortal enemies with Uchiha. Although Senju and Uchiha founded Konoha to resolve their hatred, the country of Uzumaki did not participate. I was originally in the grass ninja village, but later Mr. Yoichi discovered my ability and brought me back. Uzumaki Mina wanted to leave, but Tsunade stood in front of her with her arms akimbo, blocking her with her heavy white hair, so Uzumaki Mina couldn't help but stare from time to time. How did you eat this? Why is it so big? Single quote. That's it. Those fools in Kusanagi village, that brat saved you once. Tsunade then changed her words and asked, do you want to live in the Senju's house? As for that kid who saved you, I will reward him. You and I are also distant relatives, and we live close by, so I can teach you medical ninjutsu. Seeing Uzumaki Mina's talent, Tsunade was a little moved. Originally, she didn't plan to accept a disciple. After Shizune graduated from the ninja school, she would take her out of Konoha to go shopping. But I didn't expect to meet Uzumaki Mina. She is also a distant relative, and her medical talent is quite good. With her special chakra, if she cultivates it well, she will definitely be no weaker than her in treatment methods in the future. Quote. Forget it, Tsunade-sama. After Uzumaki Mina lowered her head and was silent for a while, she declined in a low voice. Yoichi-san is very good to me, and I don't want to leave him yet. She was quite scared at first, but Uchiha Yoichi never took the initiative to suck her blood. After being brought to the Uchiha tribe, he took great care of her, giving her a lot of money every month and finding someone to train her. Think about it carefully, even if you move to another place, it will be no different from now, can you give her better treatment? But Uzumaki Mina felt that she was very satisfied now. Tsunade felt a little weird after hearing Uzumaki Mina's rejection. Didn't this little girl know the relationship between Uzumaki and Senju? Besides, she was still a quarter of the Uzumaki clan. However, after seeing the shyness and blush on Uzumaki Mina's face, Tsunade immediately guessed a possibility and said angrily, "Why do you fall in love with that brat? You and I should be relatives. Tsunade is looking for you." Well, she discovered the specialness of my chakra and wanted me to live in the Senju clan, but I didn't agree to her. Life here is quite good. After Uzumaki Mina finished speaking, she raised her head and glanced at Uchiha Yoichi secretly. In the morning, Tsunade said that she likes Mr. Yoichi. Ha ha ha, how is that possible? She is 2 or 3 years older than Mr. Yoichi. She should just be grateful to Mr. Yoichi for saving her from the grass ninja village. Although she thought so in her heart, when Uzumaki Mina took a peek, she noticed the perfectly streamlined muscles on Uchiha Yoichi's body and couldn't help but swallowed quietly. If Yongyi doesn't wear any clothes, the muscles in his lower abdomen will look better, right? Single quote. Mina. A hand suddenly placed on Uzumaki Mina's shoulder, and she was so frightened that she immediately answered, "Yes. Mr. Yoichi, what's wrong?" Uchiha Yang glanced at her and said, "I just called you several times but you didn't respond. It's time for us to set off. It's almost the time we agreed with Dr. Ikamoto." "I see." Uzumaki Mina nodded quickly, and then when Uchiha Yang turned around and walked out, she patted her face with both hands. How could she think of such a thing, it was so shameful. When Uchiha Yoichi and Uzumaki Mina arrived, Ikamoto also happened to be here. After the three met, they said hello and went in. Uchiha Yoichi really wanted to win over Ikamoto to join the Uchiha clan. There was always a risk of leakage when entrusting others to develop medicines, but he did not have this status now, and it would be difficult for the Uchiha clan to attract outsiders to join unless he became the clan leader. After the sake and side dishes were served, and the two of them greeted each other politely, Ikamoto asked, "Yang Yi-song, what do you want to see me for?" "Yes, I heard that Ikamoto-san is very good at preparing medicines, so I would like to entrust you with a personal task to help prepare some medicines." Poison. After hearing Uchiha Yoichi's words, Ikamoto subconsciously thought of poison. Konoha ninjas rarely use poison in their fights because there are not many poison makers, but some ninjas still apply poison on their ninja tools because the efficiency of killing enemies is very high. It's not a poison, it's a tonic for ordinary people. It doesn't have to be very effective. It just needs to be effective if you take it for a long time. As for the lower the cost, the better. Uchiha Yoichi simply stated his requirements. A total of 3 drugs should be developed, 2 of which are health products with different effects, and the last one is a drug that can restore men's virility. After hearing the end, Uzumaki Mina on the side immediately lowered her head, with a blush on her face. She finally understood why Mr. Yoichi asked her to sit at another table, but she hadn't gone yet. It turned out that she planned to talk about this kind of thing. This kind of medicine has not been studied before, but it should not be difficult. Yang Yijun, what do you do with this kind of medicine? Ikamoto touched his chin and asked. These medicines are not considered poison and are not harmful. There is no need to report them to the village. The reason why I ask is out of curiosity. The clan needs it, but the Uchiha clan does not have talents in this field, so we found Ikamoto Jonin. Uchiha Yang said half-jokingly, and then continued to ask with a slightly serious expression, "Ikamoto-san, I wonder if you are willing to accept this commission. I am willing to pay according to the standards of S-level tasks." Is this so? After Ikamoto heard the reward for the S-level mission, he was indeed a little moved. The important thing is that this mission is not difficult for him and does not violate the regulations. "Kid, how about I help you?" Just when Ikamoto was about to agree, a voice suddenly came from behind Uchiha Yoichi. When he looked back, he saw the eye-catching heavy white snow at a glance. Tsunade was holding a wine bottle, her face slightly flushed, and she sat opposite Uchiha Yoichi very familiarly. After Uzumaki Mina saw Tsunade, she asked in surprise, "Tsunade-sama, why are you here?" "What do you mean, why am I here? I come here to drink 2 drinks almost every day. I have to clean up after drinking at home. It's so troublesome." As Tsunade was talking, she suddenly realized that she seemed to have told her about not doing housework, so she quickly changed the subject and said, "What do you think, kid? I can research and produce what you mentioned. You just need to ask Mina to follow me." Uchiha Yoichi was a little excited when he first heard this proposal. After all, the person who said this was Tsunade, the best medical expert in the ninja world, but after thinking about it carefully, Uchiha Yoichi still didn't want to agree. This is not research on cancer-specific drugs, just health products and aphrodisiacs. Asking her to research it feels like bombarding flies, and Ikemoto Junin is enough. No need, Tsunade-sama, Mina has her own choice, and I am talking to Jonin Ikemoto. Unless he refuses, I will not abandon him to find you halfway. After hearing Uchiha Yoichi's words, Ikemoto's heart warmed up. Although he had no intention of competing with Tsunade-sama, he was still a little happy to hear that Uchiha Yoichi valued his existence so much. I'm not ignoring Ikemoto's intention. Forget it. If you don't want to, forget it. But if you don't know how to do medical ninjutsu in the future, you can ask me as long as I'm in the hospital. When Tsunade saw that Uzumaki Mina had no interest at all, she gave up the plan completely. She also saw that Uzumaki Mina's talent was very suitable for medical ninjutsu and she was from the Uzumaki clan, so she decided to accept her as a disciple. Let's talk. After saying that, Tsunade returned to her table carrying the bottle of wine. Since she became afraid of blood, she no longer has surgeries, or even does tasks. When she has money, she goes drinking and gambling, completely losing the idea of being a ninja. Tsunade was deceived into wanting to accept Uzumaki Mina as her disciple, just to train the next medical master for Konoha, and then she could leave Konoha and travel around the ninja world without any worries. Jonin Ikemoto, let's go back to what happened just now. What do you think of my proposal? Hearing Uchiha Yoichi's question, Ikemoto thought for a moment, and then replied, it's not difficult. You can probably research it in your free time. Yoichi-san, I will accept this commission. After hearing this, Uchiha Yoichi smiled and said, thank you very much, Ikemoto Jonin. After that, the two discussed some details. In order to standardize it, Uchiha Yoichi also signed a contract with Ikemoto Jonin. Even if the other party made mistakes afterwards, there was still a contract. It's not necessarily binding, but it at least gives a reasonable reason for retaliation. For 3 medicines, Uchiha Yoichi paid another 3 million taels. This is not just a medicine. If he is not satisfied with it later, Uchiha Yoichi can find Ikemoto Jonin to study and modify it. The previous millions and tens of millions of taels were recorded in the account, which made Uchiha Yoichi feel that such a large amount of money would not be spent in half a lifetime, but when it comes to spending it, I am afraid that it will not last even a few months. When going back, Uchiha Yoichi suddenly remembered, I remember Elder Kenji said that the Shimura family still has business outside, and they should have a lot of goods and money. The medicine seized from the Shimura family last time can also be sold, but when at that time, half should be allocated to the police force. There are many secret medicines in the ninja world, and some secret medicines can even damage the foundation of the body to make ninjas improve significantly. For example, Uchiha Sasuke, after going to Orochimaru, took many banned drugs that were harmful to the body. Many ninja clans also had similar banned drugs. The one with the most overbearing effect may be the Akamichi clan's 3-color secret medicine. In order to increase their strength, ninjas will come up with various methods, and secret medicine is one of them. Compared with health products, they are much simpler than secret medicines. They are nothing more than restoring some physical strength and maintaining the body, so Ikemoto agreed immediately. But he was a ninja, and he obviously didn't expect what Uchiha Yoichi wanted these medicines for. He only knew that this matter was not difficult for him, and the reward Uchiha Yoichi gave was very generous, worth 3S level rewards. Ikemoto Junin originally planned to do a little research and development, but Uchiha Yoichi was so fond of him and gave him such a generous reward. He couldn't do it if he didn't take it seriously and had to be worthy of his entrusting employer. The next day, Uchiha Yoichi went to Elder Kenji again, explained the situation, and planned to sell the medicine collected from the Shimura family. The Shimura family originally planned to sell the medicine to the Leaf Village. I don't know if Danzo had an agreement with Kaharu, who was transferred to another dormitory. Anyway, this is what the police team found out. But now Konoha village can't receive it. Medicines are in short supply in the ninja world, and they can be sold anywhere. You might be able to make more money by selling tens of millions of tales of medicines outside. Uchiha Kenji nodded and told Uchiha Yoichi that he would send someone to handle the matter. Then Uchiha Kenji asked again. Recently, he just found out that the Shimura family had a warehouse that they wanted to move. Although the goods in it were not as many as those collected in Konoha village, there was still a lot of money, so he asked Uchiha Yoichi. Not planning to check it out. After hearing this, Uchiha Yoichi naturally agreed. If you want to ask who has the highest hatred for Danzo in Konoha, it must be him. He was used to being domineering in the village, but he was so domineering to the Uchiha clan. Although there are not many people in the Shimura family, there are still some ninjas outside, so Uchiha Kenji plans to send 2 teams there to teach Danzo a lesson. Most of the money the Shimura family earned from business was used to fund Danzo. After all, it was impossible for the third Hokage to provide a large amount of funds to the roots, but instead left his Anbu alone. If Danzo wants to develop his roots, he has to pay for it himself, but Kenji Uchiha obviously won't give Danzo this chance. Hiruzen. The door to the Hokage's office was violently pushed open with a bang, and everyone in the room couldn't help frowning and looking at the door, and then Danzo walked in with a gloomy face. Behind Danzang, there are 2 other advisors, Mito Kadenan and Kaharu. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed in his heart, and then said to Namikaze Minato on the side, Minato, you go down first. Yes, Hokage-sama. Namikaze Minato had already received the mission, and the next thing was not something he could participate in, so he left the Hokage's office directly. After the others left, Sarutobi Hiruzen lit his pipe and asked dissatisfiedly, Danzo, what's wrong with you? It's not me, it's the Uchiha clan, and now they are going to rebel. Danzo's face was very ugly. He knocked on the ground twice with his cane, and then almost roared and said to Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Shimura family's business outside has been wiped out again, and they also killed my Shimura family. 7 ninjas. Is there such a thing? Sarutobi Hiruzen really didn't know about this. There were less than 100 Anbu members in total, half of them were needed just to collect information on the ninja world, and the rest were simply not enough to monitor all the ninjas in the village. Did the Uchiha clan do it? Danzo said with a gloomy face, who else can be there besides them? This is the country of fire, how can it be a Kumo ninja? Hiruzen, this is already the 2nd time. Who asked you to use that method? It was extremely stupid. Now Sakumo is very dissatisfied with you. You almost killed his son. Sarutobi Hiruzen scolded Danzo with an equally ugly expression, saying that he trusted Danzo to give him power, but in the end he did such a stupid thing. Reveal the news to other ninja villages. If he hadn't banned this news from spreading, what would the ninjas of Konoha think of them once it spread in the village? For an Uchiha, Danzo wanted to say that any method could be used to deal with Uchiha, they were an unstable factor, but seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression was not very good, he took it back. Now is not the time to talk about that, Hiruzen, if you can't make the Uchiha stop, then I will have to let the roots act. Nonsense. After hearing this, Hiruzen Sarutobi slammed the table angrily and yelled, Danzo, do you want to start an internal fight in the village? Danzo said without giving in, even if it was an internal fight, it was Uchiha who started it first. Hiruzen, don't forget that the Shimura family has lost 46 people. In fact, Danzo doesn't want the roots to fight with the Uchiha. The Uchiha are too strong now, and there are hundreds of people in the guard. Although they are not all radicals, they are not comparable to Danzo's roots. In terms of the number and strength of ninjas, they are not as good as Uchiha at all. If they fight, his more than 10 years of hard work will be destroyed. After hearing Danzo's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen also fell silent. Calculating this way, the Shimura family did suffer heavy losses, although what Danzo did was too stupid. After both of them fell silent, Kaharu, who was sleeping beside them, interjected, Hiruzen, the medicines the Shimura family bought last time were going to be sold to the village as war preparation resources. It has been a long time since they were taken away by the police. When will they return them to the village? After hearing this, Hiruzen Sarutobi looked helpless, shook his head and said, Kaharu, don't think about this matter. I guess those medicines have been sold by the police. Fortunately, it's better to purchase them again. Sarutobi Hiruzen almost said that it was a good thing he didn't give money, but when he thought that Danzo was nearby, he changed his words. It is the Shimura family that is losing now, not the village, and Sarutobi Hiruzen is not that distressed. Besides, the Shimura family has made a lot of money in the village before, so this will not hurt the Shimura family. I'll go talk to Fugaku and ask him to put a stop to this. Danzo, you should be more honest recently. Don't be active in the Land of Fire for the time being, and go investigate the Cloud Ninja Village. Xiaochun, you can buy the medicine again. Yan, you can come over to the Daming Mansion. It's best for you to discuss this matter with the Daming in person. That thing. Hiruzen, is it the Unhi iron mine in Kawanobu? Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his cigarette and said slowly, well, the daimyo has not reached an agreement with the daimyo of Kawanoguni. We are ready to resolve this matter. I plan to send Sakumo there. Hitaki Sakumo. Single quote. He has such a high reputation now. If he accomplishes this, he won't even be able to compare with me, the Hokage's assistant, and Hitaki Sakumo was with Uchiha last time. Danzo thought faintly in his heart, his eyes were very cold. The river country has always been a big country in the production of metal mines. Apart from metal mines, the river country is a standard small country in other aspects. In the Rain Country battlefield during the Second Ninja War, Hanzo planned to get involved in the river country and wanted to rise to become the sixth ninja village in the ninja world. However, he was noticed by Konoha and Suna Ninja, and then they started a war in the Rain Country. After a war, Hanzo gave up his idea. The river country is a country surrounded by the fire country, the wind country, and the rain country. Although it is rich in metal ore resources, it does not have its own ninja village. Although the Daming Mansion has samurai guards and ninja protection, it is not large-scale at all. The Yunhei iron ore was recently mined and is said to be the largest iron ore in the river country. After the news spread, the great names of the fire country and the wind country couldn't sit still and wanted to get in and get a piece of the pie. The daimyo of the Land of Fire wanted to get more shares, and he married the clan sister of the daimyo of the country of rivers. He wanted to get more shares based on this relationship, but he was rejected by the daimyo of the country of rivers. He refused several times in a row. The daimyo of the country of fire suddenly became angry with embarrassment. So the daimyo of the fire country came to Konoha village. Let them deal with the daimyo of the river country and kill two of the heirs, so that the nephew of the lady of the fire country's daimyo can become the new daimyo of the river country and get more shares of the Cloud River iron mine. A share of such a large iron mine may bring an annual income of 100 to 200 million, which is enough to tempt a famous figure from the Land of Fire. That's why Sarutobi Hiruzen sent Mito Denon to go to the Daming Palace to discuss with the daimyo in person. Konoha must do this, but the Daming Palace shouldn't be stingy with next year's funding. Nowadays, the ninja world is becoming more and more turbulent, and the major ninja villages are constantly testing. The peaceful situation formed after the Second Ninja War is about to be broken, and Sarutobi Hiruzen has to make more preparations. Danzo, who was at his roots, was also constantly thinking about the Yunhei iron mine. Danzo has never forgotten the humiliation of Uchiha. He also always remembers the second Hokage's policy towards Uchiha. This is an unstable race. Even if there are ninjas like Uchiha Kaoru who care about the village, they are just Uchiha. A minority within a clan. This kind of unstable clan that is harmful to the village should be detained in a corner and then guard against it. Or even eliminate it. Thinking of the humiliation in the guard that day, Danzo always felt a surge of anger in his heart. Dozens of tribesmen, tens of millions of taels of goods, and the humiliation of being removed from the position of Hokage's assistant. Hitaki Sakumo. Thinking of him, Danzo was also filled with anger. He didn't believe that Hitaki Sakumo could not see that the evidence was to frame him, but Hitaki Sakumo still chose Uchiha. If Hatake Sakumo succeeds in this mission, he will not only have high prestige in the village, but also in the Daming Mansion. A. Notify the roots outside and ask them to lurk in the River Kingdom in advance, and then contact the spies from Sand Ninja Village. Yes. After a root ninja responded, he immediately used the teleportation technique to leave here. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen let the Anbu take over the root, he returned the root to Danzo within a few days. Only Danzo can control Nibi's acting style. Even if Nibi takes over, it won't be useful without a month or two of transformation. An idea flashed through Danzo's mind, then his eyes turned cold and he whispered, only I can lead Konoha to eliminate war. Stealing. You have one opportunity to steal once a day. After physical contact, you can steal any item from the other party. This ability. Uchiha Yoichi studied it carefully, and it seemed to be very powerful, and it had no side effects, and it could be used in actual combat. If there is contact during a fight and the enemy's weapon suddenly disappears, then I won't send it directly. You can give it a try first. Uchiha Yang looked out the window. It was already early in the morning, but Uzumaki Mina didn't seem to be sleeping yet, so he left the bedroom and walked downstairs. In the living room, Uzumaki Mina was having a late-night snack. She cooked a pot of ramen, 3 sushi and a plate of sashimi, which looked quite large. When Mina Uzumaki saw Uchiha Yoichi coming downstairs, her face suddenly turned red and she said with some embarrassment, Master Yoichi, I didn't eat enough at night, so I made myself some midnight snacks. After saying that, I felt a little flustered and regretful, thinking that I should bring food back to the house. Now Yang Yi knew that he had a big appetite. You don't need to tell me this. You use chakra every day to supplement necessary nutrients. You can prepare more meat at home next time. Uchiha Yang waved his hand and said that he himself is a big eater. When ninjas consume too much chakra, they will choose to use food as a supplement. And since he practiced for so long every day, plus Godzilla in his body was in the growth stage, his food requirements were several times greater. By the way, Mina, come here and shake my hand. Shake hands. Although Uzumaki Mina was confused, she still stretched out her hand, but she felt a little embarrassed. Why did Yoichi-sama suddenly want to hold her hand? Could it be? Before the thoughts in her mind came to mind, Uzumaki Mina suddenly felt a sense of weakness all over her body. Her whole body went limp, and she collapsed directly on the ground. Uchiha Yoichi, who was shaking hands with Mina Uzumaki, suddenly felt a wave of chakra pouring into his body, making him full of strength. Chakra is a mixture of physical energy and spiritual energy, which is like a tonic for ninjas. Mina Uzumaki said weakly, Yoichi, Master Yoichi, I have no strength left. After Uchiha Yoichi heard this, he immediately opened the super power roulette and saw a prompt on the ability to pull sheep. The ability was activated successfully and a copy of the Uzumaki Mina chakra was stolen. Even beings like chakra can steal it and feed it back to themselves, which is really amazing. Mr. Yoichi. After hearing Uzumaki Mina's weak cry, Uchiha Yang came to his senses, and then helped Uzumaki Mina up and said, I was testing a secret technique just now. I'm sorry, Mina, you lost some chakra. Now you need to take care of yourself. Take a break. After hearing this, Uzumaki Mina didn't blame Uchiha Yoichi. She just tried to stand up, and then said, Yuichi-sama, I don't seem to have the strength to stand up. I'll take you back. After saying that, Uchiha Yoichi picked up Uzumaki Mina. He was a little embarrassed to say that he used Uzumaki Mina for experiments, which directly made her weak. Thank you, Master Yang. Uzumaki Mina buried her head in her chest, and even tilted her head to pretend to be unintentional when she was in Uchiha Yoichi's arms. After returning to the house, Uchiha Yoichi put Uzumaki Mina on the bed. Just as he was about to cover her with a quilt and leave, he heard Uzumaki Mina reminding her in a low voice, Yoichi-sama, it's hard to sleep with socks on. Good. Then let me help you. White stockings. Why would you wear something like this when eating late-night snacks? When Uchiha Yoichi looked at Uzumaki Mina with doubtful eyes, she had already tilted her head toward the inside of the bed. Have a good rest. When Uchiha Yoichi left, he hesitated and kept the pair of white silk stockings. He didn't want to take them back, but he wanted to put them in the laundry box along the way if he needed them. When she woke up in the morning, Uzumaki Mina had recovered a lot after a night's rest, but she was still a little hungry, so she ate a lot after getting up. Uchiha Yoichi went out to practice early and even called Gates. Gates' gravity technique is very helpful for Uchiha Yoichi's practice. Weight bearing can only exercise the muscles and bones, while gravity can help Uchiha Yoichi exercise every part of the body's organs and even cells. It's just that the current Uchiha Yoichi can only exercise under twice the gravity, and cannot reach Gates' maximum 10 times gravity. After doing these punches, kicks, handstand jumps, sit-ups, push-ups, etc., Uchiha Yoichi will also let Gates use earth magic to control rocks to attack him, so that he can practice his sword skills. The continuous protruding stone pillars and rocks coming from all directions were all split open by Uchiha Yoichi with his ninja sword. Uchiha Yoichi had to do a lot of training in the morning, and today he didn't feel that these trainings would burden him at all. The chakra obtained from Uzumaki Mina last night was still there. This chakra continued to help Uchiha Yoichi recover his physical strength and eliminate fatigue during training. It was almost like an energy source. Moreover, during the training, Uchiha Yoichi could still feel some bruises and contusions on his body, and they healed quickly as before. This effect was like he was biting Uzumaki Mina all the time while practicing. The effect is really good. Maybe we can try it on others, but it's still a bit dangerous on our own people. After a morning of practice, Uchiha Yoichi is only a little tired now. The amount of practice he practiced this morning was 3 times that of usual. The sweat on his body almost soaked his clothes, but he was only slightly tired. It's a pity that chakra does not exist forever. It would be great if it could become the upper limit of chakra. But this is just Uchiha Yoichi's emotion. If this can become the upper limit of chakra, then he is sure to become a Chitara ninja within a month. As soon as Uchiha Yang tidied up, he was about to go back for lunch. Gates slowly followed him and roared beside him. Okay, when I need your help in training in the future, I will double the amount of meat. Ho! Don't worry about that. I'm also looking for energy-rich foods. There will definitely be some. Uchiha Yoichi casually comforted that there should be many energy-rich animals in the ninja world. Among other things, those in the 3 holy places can definitely satisfy Gates' appetite, but it is difficult to start. With Gates' current strength, he might be eaten by the other party if he comes to him. However, there are also many large creatures in the ninja world. Wild boars can grow to 3 or 4 meters in size. Some large beasts that are more than 10 meters tall definitely contain rich energy in their bodies. When I got home, lunch was ready. The previous 3 meals were all prepared by Uzumaki Mina, but now there is an extra gate, and the appetite of the 2 of them is getting bigger and bigger. In addition, Uzumaki Mina has to learn medical ninjutsu at Konoha Hospital and learn sealing techniques on her own, so I hired someone to prepare lunch and dinner. Although there are few sealing techniques preserved in the Uchiha clan, there are still some, but not many people in the clan have learned sealing techniques. As soon as Uchiha Yang opened his mouth, the second elder Uchiha Kenji sent a copy. With the resources provided by Uchiha, Uzumaki Mina's control over the sealing technique has continued to deepen. If Uzumaki Mina awakens the King Kong seal, her strength will be greatly improved, and she will also get rid of her position as an auxiliary ninja. King Kong blockade is an all-purpose sealing technique that can seal chakra, block various attribute escape techniques, and suppress tailed beasts. Moreover, Uzumaki Mina's chakra capacity is still very large. As long as she cultivates the consciousness of fighting, awakens the King Kong blockade and puts it on the battlefield, she will definitely be the best among Junin. But this is a bit far for Uzumaki Mina. Uchiha Yoichi's current expectation for her is to learn medical ninjutsu and sealing techniques well and become an auxiliary ninja. Master Yang, are you there? When Uchiha Yoichi was having lunch, Uzumaki Mina suddenly came back. After entering the house, she peeked her head in and saw Uchiha Yoichi, then took off her shoes and walked in with a smile. When he entered the house, he didn't put on or take off his shoes, and his little feet made a clicking sound when he stepped on the floor, which made Uchiha Yoichi tilt his head. Do you also wear white silk stockings in Konoha Hospital? So weird, take another look. Mina Uzumaki couldn't help but feel happy when she noticed Uchiha Yoichi's eyes. She had noticed it last night. When Yoichi took off her white stockings, he glanced at her several times, indicating that he liked white stockings. That's why Uzumaki Mina put on white stockings again today, and even took off her coat when she went home. When Uzumaki Mina came forward, Uchiha Yoichi withdrew his eyes and asked, "Mina, what's the matter?" Mina, Uzumaki said with a smile. "Jonin Ikamoto said that he has developed the 3 medicines you want. Let me ask you when you have time to go to Konoha Hospital. Then let's do it today. Elder Kenji is almost there. If there are no problems with the 3 medicines developed by Jonin Ikamoto, they will be put into production soon." After hearing this, Uchiha Yoichi felt a little relieved. Although he had recently obtained an earth bear, Gates's appetite really made his heart tremble. It would cost more than 200,000 taels to collect some food every day. If he practiced with him, he would have to spend 400,000 taels a day. Although he got some blood from selling the Shimura family's goods, according to this expenditure, if there is no income, Uchiha Yoichi will not be able to hold on for long. The Hitaki family. "Father, are you going on a mission?" Kakashi saw Hitaki Tsukumo packing up his ninja tools and asked. Kakashi suddenly felt like the village had given all tasks to his father, otherwise why would he have to go out on missions just a few days after returning? "Well, this mission is very important. Kakashi, you can practice at home during this period. When I come back, I will accompany you well," Hitaki Tsukumo said with a smile. His tone was neither urgent nor slow, giving people a very gentle feeling. "I'm fine. The sword skills my father taught me the past 2 days have been enough for me to ponder for a while, but..." Kakashi hesitated for a moment, and after seeing Hitaki Tsukumo's gaze, he continued, "I want to go on a mission, but there seems to be no team recently. Can I go on a mission with Captain Yoichi? Uchiha Yoichi. I remember that he didn't accept the mission, right? And can you gather 4 people?" Hitaki Tsukumo asked. The village stipulated the number of people in the mission team. If there were not enough 4 people, they could not take on B-level missions. As for C-level missions, they would not be of much help to Kakashi. Kakashi thought for a moment and then said, "Captain Yoichi said that Uchiha has its own mission entrustment. If I want to, we can come together. Except that there is no mission record, everything else is the same as the village. I just don't know if it will be right. Father, you are a bad influence. Kakashi, you don't need to think about this kind of thing. The first Hokage established the village to protect the future, not to let you think about politics." Hitaki Tsukumo started to think about the 6 or 7-year-old Kakashi when he saw him, and he didn't know whether he was happy or angry. The atmosphere in the village has caused children as young as 6 and 7 to start thinking about politics, which is a huge failure. Everyone living in the village is a companion. You can deal with whoever you want to deal with. You don't have to think too much about my father. If you think Uchiha Yoichi is a close friend, then deal with him in your own way. Just get along with each other. Don't think too much, Kakashi. I may go on this mission for a longer time, and I will give you the money." Halfway through, Hitaki Tsukumo suddenly remembered that Kakashi was much richer than him now. He only completed 2 tasks and earned more than 30 million taels. It was still earned from the tasks, and no one else could tell. What? The money was still in Kakashi's hands. The reason why Hitaki Tsukumo confiscated it was because he believed that Kakashi could break the 3 ninja taboos. "I will take care of myself, don't worry, father." Kakashi didn't say anything about the mission going well, because in his impression, his father had never failed a mission, and this time was no exception. After Hitaki Tsukumo left, Kakashi tidied up and prepared to go find Uchiha Yoichi. Now the village has a requirement for the number of mission teams. Although he is a little younger, he is still a chunin. Now that there is no mission team, he can't even receive C-level missions. In addition to having a good resume, D-level missions are also real to Kakashi. Useless. Kakashi also joined a task team after returning, but after completing a task, he withdrew. The reason is that the style of doing things is a little different, and the teammates in the new team are not very friendly to Kakashi, a young genius. Compared to their 12 or 13-year-old genin, having a 6-year-old chunin in the team makes them particularly useless, not to mention that they don't want to listen to Kakashi, but they have to listen due to their ninja rank. Naturally, the team atmosphere cannot last forever. The most important thing is that Uchiha Yang doesn't treat him as a child, which makes Kakashi feel that being in a team with Uchiha Yang is much better than other mission teams in the village. Jonin Ikamoto, are these the 3 medicines I want? As soon as Uchiha Yang arrived in Ikamoto's office, he saw 3 small pills on the table. Yang Yisong, these are it. These 2 pills are health medicines. This one is the Viagra you mentioned. Ikamoto thought about the name and thought it sounded weird, but it wasn't his name, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Due to a lot of cost reduction, these 2 health care pills need to be taken for a long time to be effective. As for this Viagra, haha, it basically takes effect within 10 minutes after taking it. At the end of the sentence, an inexplicable smile appeared on Ikamoto's face, as if he had already used it. Uchiha Yoichi picked up the medicine next to him and looked at it in detail. The content of the medicinal materials used, the production process and the cost of the medicinal materials were listed on it. According to the list of drug ingredients recorded by Ikamoto, the cost of the first 2 health care drugs was only 30 taels, because each pill only had 4 grams and the portion was not large, less than the cost of a bowl of ramen. However, the cost of Viagra is relatively high, about 90 taels per pill. But it is already very cheap, and you can save a lot of money by purchasing it on a large scale, and the cost of health medicines is less than half a bowl of ramen. At that time, the price of health care products will increase 5 times, to 150 taels per pill, and the price of Viagra will quadruple, to make up the whole number, to 450 taels per pill. It may be a little expensive for ordinary people, but this thing was originally targeted at rich people. There is also a civilian version for civilians. The cost of health care drugs is reduced to 10 taels per pill, and then sold for 30 taels per pill. It is affordable for the price of half a bowl of ramen, and if you eat it every day, eating too much will not be good for the body. Benefit. Uchiha Yoichi quickly thought of the drug prices from the Uchiha Health Drug Chamber of Commerce, but now there is another difficulty, which is to sell the drugs. Jonin Ikamoto, I am very satisfied with these 3 medicines. Here is the reward. Please keep it. After taking out the reward from the seal scroll, Uchiha Yoichi pushed the cash box over. As for warning Ikamoto not to leak the prescription, Uchiha Yang didn't mention it at all. As long as he didn't lose his mind and went crazy, what would an ordinary ninja do to offend Uchiha? As for whether others will imitate it. Except for those great ninja villages, Uchiha Yoichi is really not afraid of their imitation. The original intention of establishing the drug business, in addition to making money for himself, was to establish the Uchiha welfare system. If someone really wanted to destroy this thing, without Uchiha Yoichi saying anything, the Uchiha tribesmen who benefited would take the initiative to eliminate that person. Thank you, Yang Yisong, you can come to me if you need anything in the future. After putting away the money box, Ikamoto smiled and said to Uchiha Yoichi that he was not a money-loving person, but he could make a lot of money in his spare time and improve the life of his family. What's wrong with that? There will definitely be opportunities for cooperation in the future. Uchiha Yang suddenly thought of something and asked, Jonin Ikamoto, does Tsunade have a good reputation among ordinary people? Tsunade-sama. Ikamoto Jonin was stunned for a moment after hearing this, and then replied, I don't know much about ordinary people, but many nobles of the fire country often send people to find Tsunade-sama, and some difficult to treat diseases have reached Tsunade-sama. It will definitely restore the patient to health. It's just that in recent years, Tsunade-sama doesn't seem to have many surgeries. She occasionally treats some noble businessmen. Uchiha Yang nodded to show that he understood. The ordinary people he was talking about were the noble and wealthy people. It seemed that Tsunade, a medical master, had a good reputation among the noble businessmen of the Land of Fire. Ikamoto Jonin added, by the way, Tsunade-sama also treated a nobleman who came from the country of you today. He should still be in the hospital now. It seems that Tsunade-sama has been seeing more patients recently. I don't know if I can see Tsunade-sama doing surgery. I can learn a lot of useful medical knowledge by following her. Is that so? Thank you for letting me know, Ikamoto Junin. After saying that, Uchiha Yoichi took the medicine information and left. Following the location mentioned by Ikamoto, he walked all the way to the top floor of Konoha Hospital. After arriving at the office where Tsunade usually stayed, Uchiha Yoichi knocked on the door. At first there was no response, but then he knocked hard again, and then there was a sound like a sudden awakening. Who? Come in. Thanks for watching.